we'll see.
Time will tell.
All right, moving on to Ubisoft. It was a little nostalgic for me, and a little disappointing for me. For this one of the few Ubisoft conferences without an Assassin's Creed game that was announced.
Uh,
Now,
Ubisoft
okay,
really
now,
did.
okay,
Although you did get the Assassin's Creed movie.
we have a movie which I don't.
You,
I'm honestly I'm a little scared of for a couple reasons. I like
okay,
Michael
you
Fassbender.
have a movie, but think of it like the Warcraft movie.
Oh
Just
god,
all
no.
you need to do is think of it like the Warcraft movie.
Like I think we have Michael Fassbender in there. He's a good actor, and like the frame. I don't know. I said I'm gonna wait so just until it comes out.
Here's my biggest critique about the Assassin's Creed movie. Is the fact that I understand what they're trying to do of going, like make like a whole new character. I just feel because like there was so much you could do with Altair, with
And Ezio Auditore.
Ezio. I mean,
Yes, Desmond. You can make a whole movie up with Desmond's Chronicles
as
alone.
annoying as
You know.
Desmond was to play in the games,
Well,
I
even
would still like to see him
yeah, because
in a movie.
he was super slow. Like every time you had to play Desmond, that entire sequence of playing Desmond is super slow, and you just want to get done with because you want to stab
I mean, the
people with
first
it.
one until he got like all assassiny and like revelations and stuff like that in Assassin's Creed
But
Brotherhood as
if
well.
you brought Desmond, you could legitimately just make an Assassin's Creed like prelude movie to just what Desmond went through. Like it would be a good prelude movie. It would be something like maybe a good like like not animated, but like a good internet short that they could do episodes for.
Yeah, they did something like that for Assassin's Creed 2. They did something like that for Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
So they could have definitely done something for that for the other
But
franchises as well.
that
Just
being said, Ubisoft really did need a break from releasing an Assassin's Creed every year. They need to get their
agreed.
priorities straight for Assassin's Creed.
They have to focus on that Watch Dogs 2 coming
You know what
out.
they do need to take a break from? They need to
Making games.
take a break from having Aisha Taylor at every press conference.
Yeah, they really do.
In
He
every
needs
press
a
conference.
break.
You're right though. I
Uh,
mean, I like at least Taylor mentions the next guy and Arch and everything, but I mean, still, like, come on, Ubisoft, like, you can't just throw it at us and just you gotta give the girl a break, you know. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
we get it. You like her. Can you not? Like,
Give it. I think she's gonna be in Watch Dogs 2 somehow as an Easter egg again. Like she was in the first one as an Easter egg, like listening through like a call in someone's house, and that was hilarious. I think she'll be in Watch Dogs 2, which also looks pretty dope as well. It seems like they continue off the story from Watch Dogs 1. More people are getting into the whole hacker kind of hype.
I,
I
And
heard
see,
Pete
factions
sigh,
and
so I know
my
Pete has thoughts about this.
my issue, my issue with the entirety of Watch Dogs 2 is it is completely going against Watch Dogs 1. The ideal behind Watch Dogs 1 is you're like you're fighting the system yourself. You're
by yourself.
solely doing shit to fight the system. But now you're getting like the characters are getting more punk rocky in a group, all anarchist style, and it's not really that one person who is just doing it himself to fight the government or whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
It's
despite
now,
the communications corporation that has everything hardwired essentially. I mean,
yeah,
I see what you're
it's
saying, but for me, I kind of interpreted that yeah, he's alone doing it because he's only literally going to stand up to them, and he always, I guess, he never was one who to deny allies, and now that he exposed him in the first game, and now people are rising up. It's like, hey, we don't want this anymore. More people are getting to the movement, able to use technology and going against the corporation in Watch Dogs 2, which I kind of, you know, I could have seen coming even in Watch Dogs 1. I mean, if you're gonna have a second one, could be more people involved, obviously, with a big spill.
uh,
So,
and
I
this is
mean,
another game that has to be developed better than the first one because the first one got mixed reviews, which were more pointing to negative, honestly.
yeah, I will agree
So
with that.
this Watch Dogs 2 again needs to be another game that needs to be a step up from the game that they're coming from.
They're trying to do a bigger scale, which honestly can lead to bigger problems. But hopefully, we'll see if they can iron down some of the mistakes they made with Watch Dogs 1 with the second
Like,
release.
if you want me to boil down basically how Watch Dogs 1 went, GTA 5 put out a mod that essentially allowed you to hack like street lights and stuff.
Yeah,
And
that's what Watch Dogs
that
is.
mod,
That's what Watch Dogs is, essentially.
that mod was better than Watch Dogs 1.
Wow, the straight savage indeed.
Savage.
Yeah, like
I mean, it could have been better, but okay, the game definitely could have been better. You're right. The game could have been better. I mean, that's just throwing shade, though, fam.
I'm just gonna say, like, but it definitely, I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like they made an improvement, but I know people aren't excited about the change in how things are going. But, well, again, it's something that time will have to tell.
Yep, we will see. Now, so about the Fractured Butthole coming out from South Park, the new game coming out from them.
Oh, I didn't even think of them saying it like that, but
it's
Fractured Butthole. Yeah.
The game is literally called Fractured Butthole.
I'm pretty sure we all played the Stick of Truth, and I'll say something about that. I didn't expect the game to be as good as it was, to be completely honest.
It was more of a cult classic game than anything.
Definitely. Like, I didn't expect the game to be anywhere near like a shade of like decent. I mean, because like there's a South Park game that came out in N64.
Well,
and
it's exactly like the Family Guy game that they released for PlayStation 2. It's the same principle basically,
but a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, Stick of Truth actually is a pretty well system for an RPG. How they handled it. It actually
pretty decent game.
was actually pretty set up. I mean, I would have liked maybe a little bit tweak with the weapons. Because it felt like after a while you just stuck with like a certain set of weapons and that was it basically.
But again, like South Park game, it being a cult classic in the way that the only thing that will really turn somebody off and has turned the majority of people off of the game is the $60 price point.
Mm-hmm. Is it worth the money? That's the thing.
Yeah, and people look at the South Park game and they would honestly rather watch gameplay on Twitch than actually buy the game, because $60 is like, I would rather see them put it at 40 or even 30 just because they're not like it's not a game people are gonna want to pay.
It's not a blockbuster title, no. For as far as your gaming computer, no, it's not a blockbuster title for the game community. So $60 is a bit steep, but you know, you pick it up. We'll see if it's a good experience if people pick it up and start to play it.
Well,
enjoy
here's the thing: is if you can have the thing is you really have the other games that are coming out. So, South Park Fractured But Whole, which I'm gonna say it right this time. Ubisoft really has to look at other games that came out, and the main game that they're gonna want to look at for what they should set their game at is Overwatch. Mainly because Overwatch, you only have to pay $30 to get Overwatch. The only thing that the $60 version gives you is different skins to start, but you get skins anyway. So it's really like, if Blizzard can put out Overwatch and get it for $30, it's really going to be like, well, we're putting out a new South Park game that didn't do as good as we wanted to the first time, and we really need to look at the fact that it's because of the price point. People really don't want to play $60 for a game where they're going to love it, but it's not something they need to have, basically.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna probably buy it since I love Stick of Truth. that was like...
And there will be people who will pay $60, but as from like the casual common gamer that randomly goes to GameStop and sits there for 45 minutes walking around the store looking for games, and they're gonna say, wow, I'm really interested in this South Park game, but I am not gonna buy it because it's $60.
And they'll be like, not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it. That basically sums up that.
I mean, I remember when Stick of Truth came out, and they there. I mean, Trey and Matt were talking about it, and the difficulties they had about it. That this was the first time they actually had to map out South Park. They couldn't just do like cutscene, cut to Stan's house, cut to Kenny's house.
Mhm.
You have
And
to actually map it out because the game.
exactly. Like where is the school exactly? And I think it would. So I'm assuming a lot does go into making the game for them to break even though it is all animated and stuff. We also should talk about the fact that they are changing quite a few things in the game as well.
See, I watched certain aspects of the Ubisoft, but I didn't stay for Stick of Truth or the South Park game. I think that was before I actually started watching the E3 conference.
So they actually changed the combat system. It's not no longer like the stationary like old school RPG type style. There's actually they put space and time into the mix, so there's actually like you move spaces kind of like, so you can move closer, move back, and I think they do time is kind of like turn order system.
So more like a Fire Emblem style of combat than.
Believe so.
Kind of
Turn-based.
It's like a board game. Move around the combat area.
It's not. I mean, it doesn't like turn to like a full board game look. It's probably still has. It still has the same.
It's smoother than that.
Yeah. And I think from the little bit we saw, there was again some customization on your hero powers for your character. So I'm curious to see what else we can do. I didn't see any troll hero powers. There has to be something like how a Stick of Truth you could play as a Jew, as a class.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, some of them are probably not like acceptable to show at E3. So
that's true. You're right. That's probably accurate.
A little surprise for those who buy the game.
Yeah, you're gonna get content that was not showed at E3, and it's probably gonna be darker
Actually,
than E3.
Speaking of that, can we talk about the little shot that they did at DC Comics in the cutscene? This go be DC Comics.
What they say?
Well, basically, I'm not sure if you did you see the whole like what the premise behind the whole story is kind of. So basically, Cartman and all of them are playing superheroes now, and Cartman,
Coon guy,
who's the Coon. So basically, he's devised this whole strategy of superhero movies that he wants to do, and then people get complaining because like Kenny has a Netflix series, not a movie, and Token doesn't have a movie until like down the road. So he's like, so they take shots like, the Black Guy doesn't get a movie until later on once Marvel gets everything set up. So like people don't like how he's doing it. So it's basically ripping off Civil War.
Yeah.
But with the kids. So they go break off into them, and so he basically says that they're doing it like how DC did it, as opposed to Marvel, how you slowly introduce characters into it.
Oh, so DC just giving everyone whatever. Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then of course, the ending with PC Bro.
Okay, so we have to talk about the fact that the winner of the Ubisoft conference was indeed Just Dance.
Just Dance.
Was there any Just Dance at the conference?
They did not do Just Dance 2017, coming to PS4 and PS3. Yes, they did.
Yeah, because they
do Just Dance.
Just Dance dancers on there. It was. Yeah, it was. I laughed.
Sorry.
I was just like, oh my god, another Just Dance.
See, honestly, here's my thing with Just Dance. Just Dance is the dancing game in a way is a sore topic for me because I prefer Dance Central, the harmonics game.
Mm-hmm.
I was big on that. Like that, literally, if you go to like my YouTube channel, that's literally most of my content that built on my channel was from Dance Central, because that was actually a good game. But then Dance Central's not making anything new really, so I'm like, okay, let me buy a Just Dance, see how it is. And it's just, it's too much, it's too flashy, too much of a party game, not my cup of tea. It really isn't.
Okay.
How about the
Star Trek VR?
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
it really is like the start to VR, just because it's the basic. You sit down and you're on the bridge of the Enterprise or whatever ship you're on. It kind of reminds me of like if you would go to Disneyland and play Star Tours and you got on the Star Tours ride. That's what I imagine the Star Trek VR to be like.
it's like a VR roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like a VR roller coaster. You're on the bridge, you're, part of the crew, and you just go places.
Oh no,
and
we're
see
getting attacked
things.
by something. Then you gotta do something. And...
Getting attacked by Klingons. This is awesome. So it's basically just like a roller coaster that you own in your house.
I have two thoughts on the VR. One, the concept looks cool, even though we all are Star Wars game players. But the other thing I thought about this is, just imagine a bunch of people sitting around playing this in the living room.
Well,
you just see people full on. We need more power, Captain. They're going full into it.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you a story. My dad has a friend from work, and he lives in the UK. And every Friday they would get drunk, and it would be 6 of them, and they would literally make a YouTube video of them reenacting like a Star Trek bridge scene. And they had a fog maker in the room, and it was fantastic. And they were all like shit-faced drunk. But think about it this way, because it's VR. Imagine if you had a group of 4, 5, 6 people in the room doing the same thing. We need more power, Captain. Do you know how much money is sitting in that room from everybody having a VR?
Having a VR. I mean, yeah, that's in a perfect world. That's what'll happen. I mean, I don't know. I think that would be a hilarious sight to see.
You could just see
the chairs
them
up.
sitting there laughing in their corporate office. Look at these fools.
That's like
As they drown in money,
worth of technology in a living room doing VR Star Trek.
Can you imagine that though? Like you get your friends together with the VR thing. You set the chairs up like the Enterprise. You put like a chair over here for the navigation. Just put a little bridge, recliner, and then you just kind of. Dude, if it gets to that point, I mean.
$4,000. $4,000 for 6 people to sit in chairs and pretend like they're on the Enterprise.
Seriously?
And for them to actually be immersed,
the immersion though.
The immersion levels are real, but not $4,000 real.
Not $4,000 real. Hell no.
Yeah. Ugh. I'll briefly just mention it. I don't really have much to say about it, but the Ghost Recon Wildlands,
pretty much, it's like if who's the guy from Hank from Breaking Bad had a team of people to go after the cartels in South America. This is what this is about. Essentially, you're going after cartels in South America for cocaine.
Well, it's open world, right?
From what we see, yeah. It seems like the trailer was like a little bit more.
It seems to me like it's just Tom Clancy Ghost Recon and Metal Gear Solid, basically.
Pretty much.
It's a Ghost Recon version of Metal Gear Solid 5.
But then we also have this new thing coming out that called For Honor. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for that, but it's like a very interesting concept. A bunch of knights, samurais, Vikings, as we hit the world, and then these civilizations who would never meet.
I don't
pass with each other.
I don't quite understand the concept, and even what trying to tell us about the story, and
it kind of.
It looks cool. That's all I know, but I'm not sure what the story's about.
It seems like to me, Deadliest Warrior meets Rise, Son of Rome.
Yeah.
Oh
We'll
God.
finally get to see.
Like
Of
the
course, everyone's gonna play
gameplay,
samurai naturally.
the gameplay looks like Rise, Son of Rome, and it's essentially Deadliest Warrior. Like, so
yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
people,
So like,
people are
everyone's
super
gonna want to
hyped
pick the
about it.
samurai and use the katana at first, and
Yeah,
then
people are super hyped about it, but I'm not gonna get hyped about it until I see some sort of difference from Deadliest Warrior in a Rise, Son of Rome place.
Man.
Like,
he's not going for the hype.
I'm
Rise,
not going for the hype on this game.
Rise was fun. It was, I mean, but it was
very
Okay,
fun.
Rise.
The combat was like the combat was pretty difficult at some times.
Rise was bad because I feel like they tried to. I think along the way, like the guy had some. There's like a guy who has like a good idea and sometimes talent.
Well,
Then he was like, I kind of just don't know what I want to do anymore with this game. I know I want to be an action.
Rise, Rise was bad because they wanted to make it like they wanted to give it a good story. The story was decent, and they also wanted to make it a good action game. They wanted to make it a good fighting game, so you get the gist of fighting in a Roman style. The only issue is the only thing you're doing, progressing through the entirety of this mediocre story, is the same bash stab.
The same mediocre fighting.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's a very mediocre play style game.
Like the failing stuff was kind of cool, and picking choices like to go like left or right or auto support or whatever.
Yeah.
But the combat was the same thing after a while, over and over.
Yeah, so you're just like, I'm literally going through the same thing over and over again. Oh, I hit an interesting for this story point in the plot line. Go through the same exact combat for another 3 hours. Oh, that's interesting. Go through the same exact combat again.
Then the campaign was short, so it's like I don't want to do it again. And I didn't want to do it in the first place. Now that I finished it, this is a bad game.
The game can basically be broken into 3 segments. Do the combat. You're excited for the combat. You hit the first interesting thing in the plot line. It's done. You do more combat. Hit another plot line. You're done. Do more combat, and then you beat the game. Like,
yeah.
The ending of the game really solidified the fact that game is very mediocre.
But
hopefully this can be much better.
Yeah, hopefully For Honor is better, and so it looks good. We just gotta hopefully see more from it.
I know I'm being a little harsh judging it to Rise and just completely like
Rise was bad game. Don't play bad games, essentially.
Yeah, like that's my one comment to Ubisoft is
Rise was bad.
Please no Rise. Please no Rise. Like, please no. I don't want to start the game and it for it to be Rise Son of Rome.
Oh,
so that's yeah. But now we have to talk about Ubisoft. What they apparently seem to be one of their own hyped game that they want to hype up so much. Steep.
The new sports game, Steep, from Ubisoft.
Just because the studio is in the French Alps doesn't mean you have to make a game about the French Alps. Really?
It reminds me of extreme sports, and the only way that Steep would be good is if it was on VR.
It's like honestly. Tony Hawk's Snowboarder. Like, if I want to play a good snowboarding game, I play like Snowboard Kids,
SSX,
like SSX. Like, we don't need. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. It's probably not going to be bad. Probably really refined. But this isn't going to capture an audience.
But
like, it takes more than just a sports game to capture an audience.
Yeah, like, really, Ubisoft? Please.
This is what you wanted to push. Like, gameplay walkthrough. We don't need you to walk through. This is just mountain sports. You can climb, you can board, you can ski, you can squirrel shoot.
Don't die when you jump off this cliff.
No. Maybe I want to die, but I'll play Snowboard Kids if I want to do that. I'll play SSX if I want to do that. So, disappointed that Steep was their big little
Yeah,
heavy
Steep was
hitter.
Steep was what they put all of their effort and morale into. I mean, if anything, I would have said I would say hype up Ghost Recon Wildlands more. Just
But I guess they
because
decided
Steep will not be their big thing.
it will not. No,
It
no,
will
sir.
not.
So actually, through this discussion, just to again kind of wrap things up a bit, also Ubisoft has some interesting games coming out, but they also have a lot of question marks with a lot of these games. Like,
Yeah.
is Watch Dogs 2 gonna deliver? As Peach said, is hopefully For Honor doesn't become Rise.
Well,
And
keep in mind, Ghost Recons have come out almost every year, and we've heard nothing about them after they've been announced. So
Yeah.
Ubisoft's big thing is, can they actually deliver outside of Assassin's Creed, Ezio's trilogy? That's the thing. Like, you want them to deliver. You want them to be good. It's just that
Well,
they
even
haven't been able to put out will be something that's got us really excited.
The way they're gonna have to work with Assassin's Creed is they're gonna have to really explain what they're doing with the game when they decide to release another one, because they didn't do it with Syndicate, they didn't do it with the other one, and they turned out to be mediocre at best.
This hurts my heart. I mean, Black Flag was okay.
Black Flag was probably the best one. Like Black Flag
after the Ezio trilogy, yes.
Black Flag, I would say, would have been a good place to just stop making Assassin's Creed games. Like, you could have just stopped.
But I mean, it was making too much money. They had to continue. There had to be more.
Yeah.
And they just have to. I mean, following up to the Ezio trilogy was tough for them, but they could have done a little bit more refinement instead of just putting something out.
Just because the way that Altair and Ezio tied in was so good, like.
Exactly. But like I said, Ubisoft, I'll give them a yellow flag for now. We don't know what to do. Hopefully, they'll be able to get something going and bring back what we were used to them bringing. So that's what I had for them.